Dawn, and I'm doing my research presentation on mentally ill offenders in the criminal justice system. And the problem that I found with mentally ill offenders is that the general public has a lack of knowledge about mentally ill offenders and their condition. And this lack of knowledge leads many people to not know what to do with mentally offenders. No special attention is given to why they committed the crime and what should be done with them. So they are simply put through the system like any other offender without understanding that they need special conditions because there is something mentally wrong with them. So my solution to the problem, to what to do with mentally ill offenders when they commit a crime, is that I believe that mentally ill offenders should be put in special rehabilitative facilities rather than going to the prison system, because the prison system in the past has been proven to be faulty and to not help mentally ill offenders. A lot of the research that I found has shown that recidivism is still high in many mentally ill offenders, and what this means is that when a mentally ill person commits a crime, they are tried, they do their time, they're good, they're done, they get out, and then they recommit the crime again, and then they're put back into the system, which shows that the prison system does nothing for mentally ill offenders. So I think special attention needs to be put into the rehabilitation, and I stress rehabilitation and not punishment, because when they're put into the prison system, they're essentially being punished for the crime that they often did not know that they committed and that they did not understand that was wrong. So, to start off my research, I wanted to talk a little bit about how there's a complete lack of understanding today with many people in regards to mentally ill offenders and what to do with them. In the past, many mentally ill offenders were treated just like any other offender. They were often sentenced to death because of the crimes that they committed without understanding that their mental condition should be a factor taken into consideration when sentenced. A lot of progress has been made in this regards. Many people have argued against the death penalty for mentally ill offenders. One such woman is named Pamela Wilkins. She wrote a piece titled "Rethinking Categorical Probations on Capital Punishment: How the Current Test Fails Mentally Ill Offenders and What to Do About Them." And she stated in that article, "I conclude that the Eighth Amendment should be held to be prohibit death sentences for those suffering from severe mental illness, specifically from any psychotic spectrum disorder at the time of the crime." And what this means that when you commit a crime at the time, your mental condition should be a factor that is taken into consideration when sentencing, which I agree with, and we've made a lot of progress in this regards. But when a person commits a crime and often they're given a lesser, harsher punishment than others, what does happen to them? They're put into the prison system like any other offender. And this prison system, as I have said, does nothing to help mentally ill offenders. And to continue with my research, I wanted to show you two tables that I found. So the first one is this one right here, and this table shows I wanted to share a quote with you from Doris James and Lauren Glaze, and they wrote a piece for they wrote a special report for the Bureau of Justice Statistics entitled "Mental Health Problems for Prison and Jail Inmates." And what they stated was that more than half of all prisoners and jail inmates had a mental health problem, and state facility provides at least some sort of mental health treatment. And so what this shows is just that how many their prisoners in the mental and so the second system actually have a mental health problem, and the number is right now how states which shows that prisons actually deal mentally ill offenders don't get the care and attention that they need because there's so many of them. This is the number of prisoners receiving mental health. If they were all put together in a special facility, they would receive the attention that they need. The numbers are very high, completely dedicated to them and the special needs that they have. And to continue on with, I found a newspaper article written by Kevin Johnson in USA Today entitled "Thousands of Prisoners Retreated for Mental Illness." And what this newspaper article talks about is how there's such an overcrowding in prison systems right now because there are so many mentally ill offenders that are just put into the system. And because there's so many of them, overcrowding happens. And Johnson stated, "In an attempt to ease overcrowding, the U.S. Sentencing Commission last week approved a measure that would make nearly 50,000 inmates eligible for sentence reductions." And what this means is that not only are people not finishing out their jail time, there's just so many people put into one area. How could you possibly give a mentally ill offender the attention that they need with so many people overcrowded? In that same article, Johnson also stated, Eric Young, national president of the Federal Prison Employees Union, known as the Council of Prison Locals, said the number of inmates on medication likely represents only a fraction of those with a mental illness or behavioral disorders who have not been diagnosed or who have elected not to take medication. And what this means, this shows just how faulty the system is, because I just showed you a table that showed the number of people actually um receiving some sort of mental treatment, and as this quote says, not all of them need it. And some of the people who actually need it don't take it. So the prison system clearly overlooks a lot of mentally ill offenders and the attention is not given to them. So I believe that mentally ill offenders need to be put into special rehabilitative facilities because they will receive the attention that they need. That will provide services that they actually need. So, another article that I found in the British Medical Journal was written by Dave Chiswick, and he stated that the principal objective is that mentally disordered offenders needing care and treatment should receive it from health and social services rather than in custodial care. At present, we trauma-reminded practice all too often falls a long way short of what is desirable. And so what this basically means is that the prison system falls a long way of helping mentally ill offenders. They don't receive the care and attention that they need in prison. And I think that they should be put in special rehabilitative facilities that can help them, that is made specifically for them, that will help them get better rather than punish them, because they don't understand often what they did was wrong. And so I think they should be put into a facility where they can be made to understand what they did was wrong and that they should not do that anymore. So that is what my research presentation was at. It was a little